This section we are going to practice functions in Python. So right now I have two different challenges, two different scenarios. So let's see what they are and how we can solve them. But before diving to practice, let me just remind one more time. I will just go over about the functions and let's see what is the functions overall. So the functions is just a set of the codes, or we call it block of the codes. So imagine you have a pack of different codes over here and you just giving a name to this pack. Let me call the name of this pack is equal to A. And later on, if you need to use this pack later on, you do not need to type all codes again. The only thing, if you call these codes, I mean, like if you call this function, it will just execute all codes whatever is inside. So time to time we need to give a variable. So right now let me just give another one. Let's imagine we have a function of b, that is the name of the function, and also these codes is asking us to give some variables, and I give the variable x or even y. You see, so I have two different variables and I will be having a set of codes over here. Later on, if I need this function again, so let's imagine I have my b and I will give it 2 and let's imagine 4, so it is going to execute these codes for me. So that is the overall idea of what is the function is all about. So let's see, it says that write a function named numbers, and it will give you two different inputs, I mean two different variables. So I have a 2 digits, so what we need to compare it over here. So it says that if both of numbers are even numbers, so I need to print out, or I need to return the smallest number only. If one of them or if both of them are odd numbers, so we need to print the biggest one. So for instance, I have a 2 and 4, both of them are even numbers, so I'm going to print the 2. And here I have a 5 and 2, one of them is odd number, so I need to print the biggest number here. So since it was telling me that I need to print, I need to make a function that is a number, so I need to define that. So I need to define my function first. So right now I will say define my function, so that is a numbers, that is the name of the function, and let me just give it two different numbers, x and y. Okay, so right now I'm just defining that. So right now I need to compare that if both of them are even or it's not even. I will say if x is mod 2 and y mod 2 is equal to 0. So let's see what is going on here. So right now we are just comparing that. If the x is perfectly divisible by 2, there is no any remainder, and the y is perfectly divisible by 2, I need to do something. So I need to print what is the last one. Let me just write the past now, and we are going to fill it just in a second. Else, if it's not even, if one of them is not even, one of them is odd, so I'll do something else. So I just put the past because we will fill it inside. So let me go with the first scenario. You see, so we decided that both of them are even numbers. So for instance, I have a 2 and 4, it can be 10 and 12, it can be 50 and 44. You see, both of them are even numbers. So right now I need to have another comparison. So I need to compare them in a different way, which one is bigger or which one is smaller now. Because it says that if they are both even, so I need to print the smallest one now. So I have an if statement here. You see, I have an if statement, and I need to make another if statement again. I will say if x is bigger than y, you see, I will say print y, because I need to print my smallest number. Else print x. If x is not bigger than y, that means it's a smaller, so I need to print x. You see, so that is the if inside the if statement. So let me go here. In this else, we decided that one of them is odd number. So for this case, I need to print which one is the bigger number here. I will say I need to make another if statement here. I will say if x is bigger than y, I will print x because I'm looking for the bigger number. Else, I will say print y. Perfect. So right now my package is ready. It didn't execute anything yet because I just create my package. You see, I have my function now. And now I can use my function, you see? So right now I will say from the numbers, I'm just calling my package. You see, I'm just calling my function, which is that one. And I will give it two different numbers. Let me just give a 4 and 6. And it is going to print a 4 for me because both of them are even numbers. So, and it is going to print the smallest one. What if I will give it 3 over here? If I run it, it is going to print a 6 for me because one of them is not even number. Here it looks like we have a couple lines of codes which is perfectly working, so that there is no any issue over here. But let me show just in a different way. So how we can, let me just make a new one. How we can minimize the lines of code. So what is another way to make it? So let me just copy and paste it over here, and let me call these functions just in a different way, or let me just keep it as it is. So right now I will just delete this one and I will delete that one. So you see I have two cases. So I'm comparing them if both of them are even or one of them is odd. So right now what I can do is I will say return, and I can say minimum, the minimum number from the x and y. You see, so I have my x and y values. It is going to get the minimum one and it is going to return for me because we are looking for the what is the minimum one. Otherwise, I can say return max number from the x and y. So that is exactly here whatever we did over here. So that will be do the same way, but right now we have only less lines of codes. So let me just run it. Or let me just give that another name. Let me call it numbers as a different. So that is a different package now, and that is a different package now. So that is the number, that is the numbers. And if I want to recall my second package, I can say numbers and I will give 4 and 7. So if I run it, it is going to give me 7 now because one of them is odd number and it is going to print the biggest one. Yes, the biggest number. If I make it 12, it is going to print the 12. It is going to be 4 for me. So this is the second challenge. So it says that we need to make another function now. So we need to create another function now. So that is the name of the function. So in that function, we are going to have one variable, and inside that variable, we are going to have two or more different words. So right now it says that we have two of them and we are going to compare the initials. If the initials are same, so I'm going to print a true. If it's not the same, I will going to print a false. So let me just go ahead and I will create my function. So I'm define a function and I will say that that is the name of my function. So I will say match initials, and let me just give I'll give a. So that is my variable, that is my text. So right now what I'm going to do is, since I have one string only and in that string I have two different words, I need to separate them. I need to have two different strings now. So I will say my text is equal to a split, and let me just open and close it. So let's see what is going on here. So I'm just taking my a, the a is my variable, and just splitting them into two different pieces and saving the text. So right now my text become as a list. So in the list I have a one string and two strings. Perfect. So right now I need to compare them. I will say that text, let me say, just because I need to compare it, I need to use my if statement. I will say text is 0, 0. I will just explain in a second so why I'm using two different indexing, and is equal to text. Let me just put one more time. I will say 1 and 0. So let's see what is going on. I will just give a sample over here. Let me just get my pen and let's see. So right now we have a text. I'm just talking about this one. You see, because we took our A, which is coming from here, we split it and save it to the text. So my text is equal to a list. That is going to be list. And let me just give you a real scenario. I will give from here. So the first string is equal to Mike, and the second string is going to be a moon. Okay, so right now I have one string and another string. So how can I pick my first string from the text list? I will say the text, and I want to pick the first one. So since that is located in the beginning, right in the beginning, so the location of the mic is 0. So that is in a 0 index. But again, I don't need to get all of them. I need to get only the first one because I'm going to match the first initials only. You see? And so from here, I will tell that, hey, can you pick the am as well? So that 0, it represents the mic overall, and that 0 represents only am. What about this one? And again, from the text list, from that list, that is the name of my list, pick the first one because this moon is located on the index 1. You see? And after that, I want to pick this am, and I will say that that is located on the 0. And right now, I need to compare them if they are same or not. You see, that is a little bit tricky point. You see, so I have we have a 2 indexing. So that is representing the index itself, and that is representing the letters from here. So let's see. If that is the same, I will say return true. If it's not the same, I will say let me else return false. Perfect. So let me run it. There is no any error and working perfectly. So I just create my functions. I just define my function. Let me call my function. So I will say match initials. Let me give the mic and mic hello. If I print it, it will give me a false because am is not equal to h. They have a different initials. So let me just go one more time. I will say match. Let me say Tim and Tom. If I run it, it is going to give me true because T and T, they are same.